Alright, so we're going to review how to find slope from a graph. And remember, the first thing you need to do to find slope on a graph is to put 2 points on there. You need 2 points. Remember, it has to cross through the square evenly. Right here are points that cross through the square evenly. You only need 2 points on a graph to find slope, but I'm just showing you guys where you would put a point. The next thing you do is you draw a triangle. So here's my point, and I'm going to go up, and then I go here, and I go over. There's my triangle, okay? So I can even make another one. I go up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1. See all those triangles? All right, so I rose 1, 2, and I went over 1. That'll reduce down to 2. If you didn't know that, you go to your calculator, you press alpha y equals enter, 2 over 1, and then you press enter and it'll tell you what it is. Okay, so there's 2. The last thing you ask yourself is my slope positive or negative? In this case, if I start from the left and I go right, I'm going up. So m equals positive 2. All right, let's look at this one. I need to put 2 points on the graph, so here's 1, and here's 1. So I rise 1, and I go over 1. There's my triangle, so I did 1 over 1. If I do alpha y equals enter to reduce it, that equals just 1. The last thing I ask myself is this slope positive or negative? And it is a negative slope. Whoops. So m equals negative 1. Let's look at another one. Okay, the first thing you have to do is put 2 points on it, and it has to cross through the square evenly. So it crosses through the square evenly here and here. Then you do rise over run to make your triangle. I rise and I run. Okay, so I rise 1, 2, 3, and I run 1, 2. 3 over 2 does not reduce down, so it stays the same. All right. The next thing you do, you ask yourself, is this slope positive or negative? And if I start from the left and I go right, I'm going down. So it's a negative slope. So m equals negative 3 over 2. Let's try this one. So I need to do my points. So 1 point is here. Okay. And the next point is here. I rise 1 and I go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I rise 1 and I go over 4, and the slope is positive. So it's positive 1 over 4. So now we have slope. The next thing I want to show you, I'll do one more. Let's do one more slope. Actually, no. Let's go back. The next thing I want to talk about is the y-intercept. Okay? And all that is just where the line crosses the y-axis, because we're going to end up getting into a formula of y equals mx plus b, and we just need to know how to find m and b. We know how to find m from a slope. Now let's find b. B is your y-intercept. So in this case, on this graph, my y-intercept is negative 3. So my m equals 2. And my y-intercept is negative 3. For this graph, m equals negative 1, and my y-intercept is 2. So b equals 2. That's all it is. We're finding m and b. Okay. All right, here's the next one. I already calculated my slope, which was negative 3 over 2, and I need to find my y-intercept. In this case, it looks like it is crossing in between the 0 and the 1, so we're just going to say our y-intercept is a half. So we'll say 0.5, or if we wanted to write it as a fraction like this. So there's my y-intercept. For this one, m equals 1/4, and b equals, right here, 2. All right, let's find m and b for this one. Sometimes I think it's easier just to go ahead and put a point on your y-intercept. So there's my first point, which is 4. That's my y-intercept. My y-intercept is 4. It intercepts the y-axis at 4. Sorry. And then I need to find another point, which is all the way down here. So I make my triangle. I rise 1, 2, 3, 4. And I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 over 5. This is a negative slope, so my slope is negative 4 over 5. Sorry, I keep coughing. I know that's gross. All right, let's look at this one. Let's find M and B. All right, let's put 2 points on there. So I can put a point right here, and I can put a point here. So I rise 1, 2, 3, 4. And I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my y-intercept, which is B, is just negative 4. Okay. All right, let's find M and B for this one. Oh, this was a positive slope, so that's why I kept it as positive 4 over 5. Don't forget to ask yourself, is the slope positive or negative? And if you can reduce it. I can't reduce 4 over 5. All right, so let's look at M. So I can put a point here, and I can put a point here. I rise 1, and I go over 2. This is a negative slope, so it's negative 1/2. That can't reduce. And my y-intercept is between 0 and negative 1. So my y-intercept is right here. My y-intercept is going to be negative 1/2. Okay? In this case, my slope and my y-intercept were the same. All right, let's do one more. Let's look at this. All right, so this one already has the points on there. So I rise to find my slope. I rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I run 1. If you do alpha y equals inner, 6 over 1, we know that that reduces down to 6. Then you have to ask, is it positive or negative? In this case, it is negative. So m equals negative 6. My y-intercept, which is represented by B, my line intercepts my y-axis at 2. So B is 2. If I wanted to identify my y-intercept for this one, B equals, and it crosses through the origin, so B equals 0. If we said that my y-intercept could be negative 2 for this one, and my y-intercept could be 1/2 for this one. Okay, those aren't crossing through. My y-intercept for here is negative 2.5. My y-intercept for here is negative 1/2. My y-intercept here is negative 2. And we can say my y-intercept here is positive 2. Okay, and that's it.